Welcome to Comic Construction. Let's check out the build, art, and story of Judge Dredd, A Better World, written by Rob Williams and Arthur Wyatt, with art by Henry Flint, Jake Lynch, and Boo Cook, published by 2000 AD and Rebellion. This is a magazine-size softcover at 7 3/8 by 10 1/4 inches and has 144 pages. The cover is 4-color printing with no coatings or anything. The binding is sewn and then glued to the cover. I was shocked to see the stitching while I was reading and then notice the page signatures. So if you look closely, you can see the page signatures. They're rather small page signatures in this volume. And the interior sheet is a nice thick semi-gloss paper. It's a really nicely built book. And the art is outstanding throughout. A Better World is divided into 3 chapters, each with a dedicated artist. Boo Cook's work is painted and very reminiscent of the heavy metal magazine in the 80s, which is very high praise. So we'll jump back a little bit so you can see. Then we get to Jake Lynch, who has a more traditional comic style and is somewhat reminiscent of Kevin O'Neill. And then the artist that contributes the most to the book is Henry Flint, and their work is very scratchy and expressive. It feels a little bit like Frank Miller from The Dark Knight Returns, with a little bit of Mobius mixed in. It's a really interesting style. All of the artists convey the story and stakes very clearly and beautifully. This is one of the most important and heartbreaking comics I've read in some time. It's also very timely considering the fascist turn the US is experiencing right now. A Better World follows Judge Maitland, the head of judicial accounting, who discovers that crime can be eliminated by investing in services and education for the citizens while running a budget for running a simulation for their budgets. She works with Judge Dredd to take down the Red Queen, who's a gang boss, and that gives her some extra influence at the council. And so she's eventually given a sector to test her theory. Everything is going as expected. All crime is down. Judges are helping people rather than subjugating them, until someone on the council conspires with a right-wing news agency led by mogul Robert Glenn to reverse this process. To read this at this point in time, specifically January 18th, 2026, as protests in Minneapolis are ratcheting up due to unlawful actions of ICE, which is operating more like the Gestapo than a U.S. Government agency, is an act of frustration. And the writers also criticize capitalism in a scene in which Glenn literally eats the leadership of a company he's trying to absorb into his own network. This book is incredibly good and extremely important, and it hits really hard. So will it stay or will it go? There is no denying the importance and craft of this book. The question is, would I read this again? And I'm not sure, honestly. It's easier to read V for Vendetta because the good guys win in that one. That is not the case in A Better World, and I'm not sure I have it in me to read this again. But I do plan to revisit it in a few years and see if maybe my life has changed and I can appreciate this more without it being such a hard hit. Thanks for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and share with a friend.